Nochmal Wasser fassen. Es ist heiß, es ist schwül. Eigentlich war sogar leichter Regen angesagt. Der ist aber noch nicht hier eingetroffen. So kennen wir Acerbi. So geht er in jedes Spiel. Und wir freuen uns jetzt auf dieses Match.
Oh, and my things now. Oh, by the way, you wouldn't be able to heard it on stream. Welcome to Milan Derby. We're a little rusty over here. I had the microphone off on the other end. And I got Nick here, and lots of interesting stuff. One team hasn't even scored on. Complete clean sheets. These are two top teams in the league going at it. Biggest derby. They both play in the same stadium. This should be amazing all around. And then, of course, Captain America. And who's not playing that bad? Lots of great players. Yeah. No, I'm not surprised. You shouldn't be either, Mr. Chelsea. I think you. Yeah. Injuries helped him out, and it's obvious. Like, we don't know why. I don't think it's his attitude. I've never heard a bad thing about him, but he just for some reason he rubbed people the wrong way about his play. So he's been fine here, and boy, they like him over in Italy. He's treated well, and he's got some. Even though he's not one of the best players in the world, I would say he has more star power. Let me get that. Than a player of his normally of his caliber would, probably because most Americans are unicorns in the football business. So I think the Italians like that. He's also got some Italian American heritage. That probably doesn't hurt. And away we go. Oh, I didn't bet on this one yet. I usually bet on goals. I bet next goal. Yeah, I could bet now, I guess. I could put something on now.
Das sind keine sportlichen Freunde. Die haben in den letzten Jahren schon einige direkte Duelle gehabt, die ja auch über der Grenze des Erlaubten waren. Deswegen auf dieser rechten Seite oder auf dieser Seite vor den Trainerbänken, da dürfte es ziemlich heiß zugehen.
Talk a little bit. I don't think you're being picked up. I don't think you're being picked up on the stream. Yeah, I think so. No, you're not. You're not being picked up. I think there's something wrong here, so I got to fix it. Yeah, this sucks. Seems like it's picking up the one of the. We'll get you up there. God, I hate this thing. It's so difficult. Let's see if we can get it. Audio. Microphone's good. Audio preview.
Durch den Wechsel der Trikotnummer hat man auch noch mal seine Wertigkeit unterstreichen wollen. Er trägt jetzt die 10. Ja, da war vorher beispielsweise auch.
See, that works. No, that doesn't work for me. They're doubling me up now. Ah, now everything's being doubled up. Well, fix it. You always do.
Hat Superkräfte, muss sich dessen nur manchmal bewusst sein.
Audio.
Genau das auch sehen wir von Leao in diesem ersten Saisonspiel.
No. Check, 1, 2. Talk a little bit. You're not being picked. I don't know why you're not being picked up. I can't figure it out. Crazy. Real tackle. Check. Talk to me. Nothing. It's picking up the game, but not you. I don't get it. Might have to do. We'll get on. We'll get Nick on for you. I am not terribly sure. Microphone mix. Left to right to left.
Also diese Position hat sich ja erarbeitet schon in der abgelaufenen Saison.
Real tech? Yeah. I don't have the stream on in there either. I don't know what he's coaching me saying I'm doing something wrong.
Ins Risiko, hätte längst schon Malik Thiaw auch anspielen können.
Default. Yell. Give me a good yell. Nothing. It's so weird. We'll just keep making it happen. We're gonna make this happen. Absolutely gonna make this happen. It's almost like a stream-only thing. It's really weird. I wonder if I don't. Not giving me the old stereo mix option. I wonder if that's been turned off. We're gonna get it. I'm gonna figure this out. Stereo mix.
Also die haben wirklich von Anfang an sehr gut ins System von Pioli gefunden. Und weil du Tonali ansprichst, Milan hat ja noch viel mehr Milan-DNA über den Sommer verloren. Paolo Maldini ist nicht mehr im Amt und Zlatan Ibrahimovic auch nicht mehr in der Kabine. Das haben sie aber alles bisher super aufgefangen.
Thuram, es geht weiter, das wird gut. Nochmal Thuram, kein Abseits, auch hier nicht. Und das ist die Marco. Tor 1-0, Inter, Mkhitaryan. Ja, es blieb gefährlich, sie haben es nicht löschen können. Und deshalb dieser Treffer für Inter, die Proteste, weil sie ein Foulspiel gesehen haben wollen, von Thuram an Thiaw. Das ist das Thema, Christian. Da ist schon Theo Hernandez, der fällt. Das hier sehe ich jetzt nicht als Foulspiel. Thuram und dann ist...
Also, fangen wir mal an hier mit dem Tor. Viel Unordnung hier im Zentrum. Mkhitaryan komplett frei, wir haben es angesprochen. Kier nur reingerutscht, weil Tomori gesperrt ist, Kalulu verletzt. Da hat die Zuordnung überhaupt nicht gepasst.
All right, that's me coming through. Talk a bit. Why you're not playback devices? Doesn't give me a stereo mix option. I'll try. Maybe I'll do that with you too. Speakers. Say it again. Say it again. Hello, hello, hello.
Say what again? Hello, hello, hello.
Do it again.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, I think you're in. One more time.
Woo. Hello, hello, hello.
Should be able to work.
Ja, da geht der Ball nach außen. Wird eingesammelt.
Also, das Ding ist durch.
This is so weird. System default communication.
Dann haben wir schon mal diesen Ball auf dem Sockel.
Give me another hello. Well, now we're both like, oh, this is bad. This is a complete disaster. Total disaster. We're in disaster zone now. Audio preview. Check, check, check. Let's see if we can get me in there. See, now I'm doubling up.
Verstehe ich total, dass er das macht aus kommunikativer Sicht. Aber jetzt bin ich gespannt, wie die Milan-Spieler reagieren.
Check, check, check.
Jetzt hast du im Hinterkopf.
Check, check, check. All right, I'm in there now. You talk.
Wir sind wieder im Rückstand.
Okay, we're gonna get. I think we're almost there now.
Negative Denken reinkommt. Es läuft ja gegen die nicht. Egal was wir machen, es funktioniert nicht. Das ist jetzt wirklich aus psychologischer Sicht extrem herausfordernde Situation.
Right to left. System sound.
Und wieder ist es Thuram, der maßgeblich beteiligt war an diesem Treffer. Also unglaublich viel Vorarbeit hier jetzt wieder. Dumfries.
I think I know what's wrong.
Milan taumelt.
Did they score again? No.
8 Minuten und jetzt müssen sie zusehen, dass sie nicht in die Seile geschickt werden.
I can still hear it.
Es ist der wesentlich bissigere Zugang zu diesem.
You know what it might be?
von Inter.
Something in Discord. Should be picking up everything on my PC. Pro light.
Di Marco. Ja. Mike Mignon. War da schon ein bisschen überrascht. Hier haben wir... da ist der Check, den ich meine.
Talk for me, will you?
Fries an Hernandez.
Hello there. How are you?
I think we got it. I think it was something
Lovely
in Discord.
jubbly.
I think we got it. One more time.
Hello, hello, hello.
We got it. We're in. We're in. We're in. I got it.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Wieder von Di Marco, der Mann mit seinem auf der linken Außenbahn.
The professionalism.
Für dieses Interspiel auch kein Zufall.
You can tell we're one of the top streamers.
Yeah, we're one of the top streamers. Absolutely. We're back. We're in there like swimwear.
Lovely.
Lovely.
So, und da
Pop
haben
that
wir
chat out.
You know what it was in the end?
Yes I do. It was I sure do. Thank you, Dinner Boy, LFG. Dinner Boy.
Fucking go.
Immer wieder der Beginn einer niederländisch-französischen Freundschaft.
Ja. Die muss nicht lange aufgewärmt werden. Die ist sofort auf Betriebstemperatur.
Lautaro Martinez. Di Marco. Und das ist das 2-0.
Just offside. But so far,
Fast ein Pack von Mkhitaryan.
look at a big one-sided.
Also Mkhitaryan.
Honestly, yeah. AC Milan haven't really had a good chance yet, but
No,
that could have easily been 2-0 for Inter.
They're piling on.
Mm.
Well, the odds are really good for an Inter win right now, so I'll bet on them because I'm really into
Losing money?
Yes, I love it. Nothing makes me happy than losing money. I've also seen a lot of come behind victories for teams that scored first today. I watched Wolves. It happened to Wolves today too. I watched it happen to my own team. So why not bet on this?
Well, Milan of Pulisic.
There he is. Get back in there. He said he had dreams of scoring in this derby. Dreams. That's what Pulisic had. Dreams of scoring.
Because you have that other American at Milan now as well, Yunus Musa. He's on the bench today. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen about him.
I don't know much about him because I think he comes off the bench in the States as well for the national team. But yes, I
He
for
played a
some
decent
reason,
amount at the World Cup. He played a decent amount. to be
yeah,
fair.
he did play a decent amount. I don't know all that much about him, but he's a part of this sort of American movement over there. I mean, they seem to be very confident with our players, which is surprising to me.
Hmm. I don't know, like, you do have a very talented group coming through, like, not world-class talent, but
Yeah.
like you got some nice-looking players in there, obviously spearheaded by Pulisic, but Gio Reyna looks good like, for a young player.
Balligan. I mean, I don't think we got any $100 million players, but we definitely got a lot of $50 million players.
Yeah.
50, 20 million dollar players for sure.
Hmm.
There we go.
Because that Tyler Adams almost joined Chelsea in the summer, but he ended up at Bournemouth, I think, in the end.
How's Chelsea start? I haven't haven't heard anything from them.
Not great. I don't know. It's tough. Like, Chelsea should be doing better than they are so far. Like, so it's kind of promising, but like the results aren't exactly there yet. Like, we lost 3-1 to West Ham, but we absolutely battered them. Like, on another day, us like, and Chelsea missed the penalty at 1-0 up. So if they score that, go 2-0 up, it's a completely different game. But they miss, and then West Ham go and win it. So, yeah, it's not been great, but like we've had games which we should have won, which we haven't yet. So at least that's better than just being crap.
What do you think of Leao, who plays on the left?
Rafael,
Yeah, I think he's
very
real
nice,
quality.
very nice.
Interesting. He's one of the reasons I think that Pulisic's a starter because he says he likes it because he's playing in Pulisic's normal position. But I saw him interviewed, and he seemed to be really interested in playing with Polasek. Either I guess as a nut. I think at the time that he was going to play more of a number 10 than on the right over there. But yeah, they put him on the wing, and he's done quite well. That's a pretty scary really like Leal Giroud. That's a pretty scary front line there. Leal Giroud and Polasek. That's a lot of firepower. Oh
yeah, big time. There's a reason why they're up there. Like, I say, Giroud's just such a good goal scorer. Leal is a fantastic player. Like, if I was like Liverpool, for example, if Salah's looking like leaving, Leal would be like up near the top of my list of players to bring in. Like, as far as young, attacking, wide players go, he's one of the best in the world. And yeah, Pulisic has always had it in him to be something special, but he's not quite hit it.
Yeah. And
he's starting to show it again. And yeah, then they have a few players on the bench that look nice. Like they signed a young striker from Salzburg called Noah Okafor. He's quite a fast young striker. He looks pretty nice. So they're doing something over there at Milan to stay at the top, and I like it.
AC Milan's starting to settle down now. Some small ticky-tack there. Settle the team down a bit. A run and gun definitely seems to work in Inter's favor here.
And so that's the thing. If you're losing, you kind of just got to take control of the game again. Slow it down.
Yeah, settle down, slow it down. Seems to be what they're doing. Nice pass. Messi keeps the incredible run to try to make the playoffs. He'll pick it up. Did you see Inter Miami won without him? Why we the break? They won without him. Solidly against Kansas City. That story's just been amazing. I get, transformation. I got to be honest. I don't know when they stopped counting. Like, let's see. I don't know when they stopped counting. What part of the season? I don't know if the Leagues Cup played into the decision for Ballon d'Or, because I was totally for. I don't think the World Cup alone should win you the Ballon d'Or. I think there's got to be one. I think the most dominant player in the world last year was Milan. After Messi comes in and just does the impossible, I don't know how you don't give it to him now.
No, I think it is a really tough conversation because what he's done is amazing, but at the same time, Haaland did get that treble. The best player in a treble-winning team is also like one of the best arguments you can have for the Ballon d'Or. So I think it is it is a very tough one. Like it could go either way, to be honest.
Well, just 2 months ago, I would say Haaland by a long shot, but I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't know when they give it. If he makes the playoffs too. I realize that the MLS is in this, but even at Messi's caliber, to go in there and just he made other players better. He turned other players into stars overnight. You know.
And so that's the thing. Like that's the thing with football is like it's so amazing because it's not like basketball where like one good player can literally transform a team from bad to a playoff team just like that because it's a lot more individual. Whereas if you're one of 11 players, to have this much impact on a team is genuinely insane. Like to be able to make that much of a difference at a team, considering you're one of 11 on the pitch.
If he pulls them into the playoff, I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind that he's the greatest player that ever lived now. I mean, I don't think it's as close as it was 5 years ago between him and Ronaldo. I think he's far and away succeeded more. Yeah, Ronaldo's already out. Ronaldo's already been eliminated from his cup. A lot of people haven't talked about that. And you're starting to hear the first kind of cries from the media with Ronaldo, which is sad. This is not. I'm not rooting for this. That his legs are done because he really didn't. I guess that last game in Portugal wasn't really anything to write home about.
Yeah. You got to also remember that Ronaldo is a year older, so I suppose he's got a bit more mileage on him. But
he's 3 years older. He's 39. Yeah.
So he is older, so you'd expect him to have run out a little earlier. But yeah, I think what Messi's doing now in MLS is more than what Ronaldo's managed to do outside of the big teams.
Sure.
Do you think he went to United, didn't really do a lot where they weren't successful, and now he's at Al Nassr and he's not really transformed them massively. Whereas Messi's like influence is waning, but you look at what he's done in MLS.
Is it a better league? I mean, look, league doesn't. I mean, we've had great stars in MLS before. We're not the greatest league in the world. I mean, you need really. I think what makes a great league. How good are your average players? How good are your role players? That's what probably makes a league good or bad. I mean, you see it every time you turn a Premier League game and the speed of the game. I mean, like everybody in there could be a valuable player, if not a dominant player in a lower league. It comes right out. It is the Super League, so to speak. And I don't know how to judge it. I don't watch it. How much better could they possibly be than MLS? This league, I really don't know.
It's a really hard one to gauge, isn't it? Because I think before this summer, I'd say MLS is comfortably better.
Yeah.
Because your average MLS player was definitely going to be better than like the Saudi Arabian players. You look even like internationally, the USA do pretty well internationally, whilst the Saudi Arabia get absolutely destroyed in the World Cup mostly, apart from the Argentina game. But then they have bought so many players this summer that a lot of the teams are now a bit more stacked. Like maybe they've got like 6 good European League players compared to like before, so it is hard to play. It's like,
well, they're pulling smaller players. They're pulling small, like the jersey. I don't have it at the Mainz jersey I have. He got traded the day I bought the jersey. Sebastian Hack, who played a long time as center back for Mainz. He's a solid ball player. I mean, he's definitely not world class by any stretch, but he's definitely a solid player. Zella Rayan from Columbus Crew is now in Saudi Arabia, so maybe they are building from. Because that's a smarter way to build it to get stars. Just to get it. So it's tough to tell. I mean, Ronaldo says his league's better, of course. I mean, what a shock.
Of course,
but
he also claims everyone's going there because of him and not because of the massive amounts of money they're offering.
No. That's the thing about Ronaldo. Where no one loves Ronaldo more than Ronaldo.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't know. It might be his competitive nature. I mean, there's so much. For every bad thing I can say about Cristiano Ronaldo, as far as like he's I don't know I don't like the way he carries himself, but I mean the hard work he does. They say he gets up like 4 in the morning. He's got a military schedule. He takes this deadly seriously. I think things with it. I think Thierry Henry said this with Messi. It's not that Messi doesn't work hard. He does. It's just everything just comes so much more natural to me, and I think it's why he's played as long as he has at the level he has too, because he just takes incredible care of himself and takes this very seriously.
I think that's why, because I was talking with a friend the other day. We were talking about how when you look at it, a lot it seems to be more young players these days look up to Ronaldo more than they do Messi. Like, even though Messi's better, you hear a lot of the time.
My son says that. He goes, if you go to his school, it's all Ronaldo talk, and I think that has more to do with the montages on YouTube than anything. And Messi, Ronaldo's definitely more spectacular to watch, especially with his ball handling skills, which might be the best ever. Yeah. But
I think part of that might also be like if you're a young aspiring player, it's a lot easier to like identify with Ronaldo, because like when you look at them, like Messi versus Ronaldo is sort of like talent versus hard work. Like Ronaldo became the best in the world because he worked to get there, whilst Messi got there because he was naturally talented enough to be there. Like that's the sort of narrative behind them. So if you're a young player, you've not got Messi's skill, so you're gonna maybe look up to Ronaldo more. And I just find that interesting.
I don't want to undercut Ronaldo's talented. He still might be arguably the best player ever. He's one of the most talented players ever. But I think if you think about what Nick's saying, he's not saying that he's a grinder. That's grinding. I don't want to put it in that category. But he's definitely hard. Just ridiculously hardworking. I remember because I guess he saw Jordan Peterson, the psychologist, professionally, and they asked him, like, what did you tell him? And Jordan Peterson was like, not much. Like, what do you tell a guy like this? You know, he's got like Cristiano Ronaldo's got it together. You know.
I think that's what builds like I don't think he doesn't strike me as a bad person. Like he might
No,
be a bit whiny on the pitch or something, but like I think Ronaldo is a good person generally. He's just very arrogant I think that comes from his competitiveness.
I think
where he has to believe he's the best sort of thing.
This might be culture as well. I mean, the Latin players tend to be the Portuguese, the Italians, the Spanish. They're a little more. And their machismo, so to speak, might be like there was a baseball player named Roberto Clemente, and he said he was better than Willie Mays. He said he was best in the world, right? I like Americans took that as, you know, who do you think you are, you know? And I think a lot of people in Central Western Europe see it that way. They see it as confidence, you know. It's they're down. They're kind of getting battered by. They're getting battered a little bit by Inter. Inter looks like the better team.
At the moment, yeah.
And 1-0. It's 1-0, yeah.
Although Milan did just have a decent chance, so maybe they're going to find a way back in.
Und das sind Situationen, die Inter liebt, speziell die Marco.
I am surprised, you know, so much in German Second League, obviously, with my team being there, that they don't, and maybe they do. It is such a weapon. I mean, I've known this since I started watching Beckham. To have a guy, I can't believe there's not more guys that don't specialize in free kicks. You are such a danger. And Messi shows that. He's just, I mean, he's deadly on free kicks. I don't know why. I mean, if I were a coach and somebody shows some kind of time, I'd have that guy taking free kicks all day. I mean, just all day. A couple hours, maybe.
Yeah,
you know, you don't.
I think the way they train it more is less one person. It's less about like the kick taker. I think where they train it more as in where everyone's going to stand and where you're going to kick the ball, sort of thing.
That's what I'm saying. I think it might be the kick taker that needs the training, or you need a squad of guys. That's what I would start doing. It's too valuable a weapon, not to develop. Yeah, I imagine the positionally and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they focus on.
It's probably more important to do it positionally, but you know, if you could develop a guy's skill in this area, I mean, this is another area where Ronaldo's statistics have gone down. He doesn't hit as many free kicks. Yeah, massively. I don't know what part of his game he changed, but I mean, Jesus,
he's a strange case. What happened with him? Like, he went from like being a really good kick taker early in his career to where second half of his career he was bad. Like, he was like statistically the worst in Serie A history at one point, or something like that. Where like he scored like 0 in 77 or something like that. Like, yeah, I don't know what happened with him. I don't know
how you lose that either.
Starley takes it or something. I don't know. Especially when he's such a prolific goal scorer as well. It's not like he lost his goal scoring ability or anything.
You put him in the box, he's going to score. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how you lose something like that. It's really strange.
It's not. I mean, speed. I totally understand. Your muscles change. Your body changes. I don't understand the other part at all. It's very strange to me.
So it's interesting how in detail these things can go, because James Ward-Prowse in the Premier League is like the best I've ever seen at set pieces. Like, he's a solid player, but set pieces, the best I've ever seen. Like, legitimately the best. Like, he's unbelievable. And Tifo did a video where they spoke to someone. They spoke more in detail where like Ward-Prowse said, like, he's even like he will place the ball on the ground with like the logo in a certain position so he can hit the exact spot on the football that he wants and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy in detail how he can go.
I think there needs to be more guys. I think there needs. I don't. They treat him like he's some kind of freak of nature. I think if it could be developed, and they probably I would like to see them develop that more. And I do see guys down at the park
kind of do it like that.
I do see guys down in the park taking but they're by themselves, and it's. I think you need people there to set the play up, and I think you need or at least those I forget what you call those things. Those where they put a wall. They kind of put a wall up to kind of simulate a wall. Man, I'd be doing that all day. Yeah, I'd hire a guy, just move the wall around for the guy.
Because Brentford, they're kind of interesting where they've done it. They hired someone to basically specialise in making them better at just set pieces in general.
Yeah.
And statistically, they've gone up to be like one of the best teams in the league for scoring from them.
I'm on to
because
something.
they put a heavy focus on it. Yeah.
I think there should be a heavy focus on it.
Hmm.
You know, I watched third league German football last year. Admittedly, my team, they didn't hit one set piece till the last game of the season. You put, if they would have hit 5 of them, they might have won the league. Instead of just getting promoted.
Also, at a lower level like that, goalkeepers aren't going to be as good as well. So if you can hone your craft at scoring them, you're against easier keepers to score against as well than like these Premier League ones. So if you can get really good at pinpoint taking them, it's going to be like even more of a guaranteed goal than at the higher levels because the goalies aren't going to be as good at stopping it.
I think at all levels they should be concentrating on that. This summer, solid goalie.
I really like Jan Sommer.
Yeah, it's always like Sommer.
He used to be my pick for Chelsea to sign him years ago.
That's a good thing about goalies. They can play till 40. Victor Van Boxel said, I remember Zlatan interview in CNN said Messi was better than me. Better Ronaldo is a trained product. And I think he's kind of echoing what we're saying, that he doesn't have the natural talent. But I don't like saying that because it makes it seem like Ronaldo's a grinder. He's not. But I think I know what he means. Like, oh! Just why? Was that Giroud? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Oh no, it's Teo Hernandez.
They had the same hair.
Yeah, but like blonde.
Way to read the play.
Giroud passed it to him. Yeah. There you go.
All right, it's creating some chances. Sometimes you got to force your way in. Best goal I saw today was from Wolves. I don't know if you saw that quick against Liverpool.
I didn't. No. What happened?
Tommy, what was the guy's name from Wolves? Neto? Yeah, Tommy remembers
Pedro
that.
Neto.
Neto, boy, he moved it in and just a tap pass. Wide open net. He broke away from... Well, you know what? He sucked in the entire Liverpool defense. And then he broke away from one of them, which allowed, like, the entire defense was up his ass, and he left the other winger open. Good player then. I was very impressed with
Neto?
Yeah, very impressed with Neto today.
Yeah, like 2 seasons ago he was looking like a really good young player, but then he tore his ACL, I think, and then he was out for like a year and sort of just been quiet since. So if he can find his old levels, then yeah, he looked really good. But the thing is, if he didn't get injured, he probably would have gone to a top team for like 60, 70 million by now.
Victor Van Boxel. I mean, the Netherlands have a lot of artificial grass. And director of football of my club, PSV, asked himself if there's something ultimate artificial grass. Wait a minute. Is there something as an artificial grass footballer? That's an interesting question. Do some players excel on the grass? Most players I know hate it. I know Johan Cruyff, there's somebody you should know, absolutely hated playing in America for that reason alone. I think he went to the Cosmos and quickly got out of there because they played on turf. And that was the old American, like NFL turf. The turf nowadays is way different. It's honestly difficult for me to tell. Nowadays, I don't think it's that bad. But, it's a lot harder when you hit the ground than when you hit the grass. There's a little bit of there's not as much give, but it's not like NFL bad, because a lot of American soccer teams. I even seen it with I've seen it recently in Europe. It was, I forget what me and Tommy were watching. they had a gridiron on the field, and I was like, this is a European game, so they must have had a local football team playing there recently.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
I don't know, because I know here the low league teams play on artificial turf here, but it gets banned. Like if you get to a certain level, they don't allow it anymore, so you have to have real grass.
Yeah.
But I can see the logic in that, because you think like in tennis, for example, you have like players who are like known to be really good. Like you have the king of clay, who's really good on like clay turf, and someone who's really good on grass.
Yeah,
so maybe there is something
specialist.
in that.
I
Yeah,
think that's
where
what he's saying.
maybe you have a specialist on turf. Yeah, I think that would be an interesting thing to go like look into. If that's the thing, obviously it's not here because it's banned, but could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested to see when Messi gets on it. I wonder what he says. I also know Johan Cruyff. I guess there's one Willie Overton. He went to Arizona and wasn't special anymore. Arizona. What Willie Overton? What's that? I am not.
I think he means. I think he means AZ Alkmaar, maybe.
Oh, geez,
that's a Dutch team. AZ Alkmaar.
I don't look. I don't play at that level. I don't really understand like what the big deal between turf is, but. Smaller teams have to. It's expensive. You know, you saw what happened in Wrexham. If you watch Welcome to Wrexham, they laid the sod down and it failed, and the turf started coming up. And it cost them another $100,000. It's not cheap. And then you could put like my son's team. They have a really nice field with the artificial grass, and you don't have to worry about it. It also drains itself. There we go. I like Leal. Come on, boys. They're trying to make... nope, they're not going to get it there. Good no call by the ref there.
Still got it.
There's Leal. It looks like he's going to try to cross it over. A little far. A little wide.
Just overdone it.
Cruyff hated it. I know that. I don't think George Best thought too much of it either.
Yeah, I don't know.
But with the American team,
I know that's why like they like a lot of lower teams here have it because it's cheaper to maintain. I think overall,
yeah,
like,
there's not much maintenance that goes into it, from what I understand. And not only that, if a grass patch comes up, it's totally fixable.
Because I remember, obviously, our low Braintree people don't have money. It was a team, Billericay. The old owner was a bit of a wacko, and he left. And then someone drove on the pitch and messed up the turf, and they basically had to play like loads of games in the last half of the season because they just couldn't play any home games for like half a year because they just couldn't fix it in time. Like it was just unplayably bad, like damaged, and because they didn't have turf, they just had normal grass. It was just messed up for ages. And even when it was like playable, it was still awful. And it was like their whole season was ruined just by the pitch being messed up.
Yeah. Looks like ticky-tacky versus counter-attacky out there. And that's a beautiful goal. Unbelievable.
Lovely. But Thuram, who scored, yeah. He's having a really good game.
2-0 Inter.
The first goal. Marcus Thuram. Nightmare for Milan. 2 down in the first half is bad from them.
Ooh, it's not good. Now you're playing for a tie. Yeah.
Big time.
Playing for a tie versus a team that hasn't given up a goal. How is Dumfries playing? Is that for you? Is that a question for you?
Dumfries? He's doing all right. Dumfries is a strange player where he seems to be a lot better for the Dutch team than he does for Inter, but he's having a solid game so far. He's been all right down the side. Like, nothing notable. Thuram's been the star of the show so far, I think.
Markus Thuram, sein Vater Lilian Thuram, auch einer, der hier in der Serie A Geschichte geschrieben hat. Jetzt nicht als Stürmer, er war ja Defensivkünstler. Aber wie schnell der sich hier akklimatisiert hat, Chapeau.
Yeah, he did. He crossed it to Thuram, and Thuram did well in the box to get a shot off from the score. It was a nice counter from Inter again. They're really punishing them with that.
Really are. It seems like they're letting them out of the ball, too.
Startet diese Saison ganz weit oben, was die breite Brust und die Selbsteinschätzung betrifft.
Und was wir nicht vernachlässigen dürfen, Milan war gerade drauf und dran. Ja. Milan war auf einem guten Weg. Und dann bekommst du solch eine Fackel um die Ohren.
Very nice finish. Very nice.
Sagen, im Stile einer Spitzenmannschaft, wenn du in so einem Moment dann eben auch nachlegst,
Inter having all sorts of problems. Or AC Milan having all sorts of problems. Well, that bet didn't go through. Lucky me. My iPad was acting goofy.
It's bailed you out.
Yeah, it did. That didn't go through.
Where are Wiesbaden in the table now?
They did lose yesterday. Inter Milan to win the game. Well, the odds are insane. I'll tell you in a second. But still, they're not. No, I don't think they're anywhere near relegation. We'll find out. Let's see. Yesterday.
I know you started really well.
Started super well. I honestly think we should have won yesterday. Yeah, I honestly think they should have won. We're ninth. 2-2-2. But here's the thing: we're only scoring like one goal a game. Scored first yesterday against. We seem to be playing down to lower teams and playing up to higher teams. Seem to do a little better. Yeah, we played well against Schalke.
So it's usually like the opposite, isn't it? With teams.
Yeah. Well, the Elversberg and your mom's teams on Sonnenbroek dead last.
Yeah, Osnabrück are doing terrible, aren't they?
Yeah, that's weird because they really turned it around. I would still, they weren't exactly. They kind of snuck in there in spring. They weren't really a part of the conversation. Most of the teams were Saarbrücken and Dresden, and they kind of snuck in there. I think a lot of people were waiting for Wiesbaden to collapse because they'd go on. They did go on 2 losing streaks during the season last year, but they lose 6 in a row and they'd win 8 in a row.
Yeah.
Hollebach did not get picked for the Champions League team in Madrid, and I don't know if he made a mistake or not. He actually made the German papers past couple days. They asked him how he felt about being left off the team, and he decided, stupidly, in my opinion, to answer the question.
What did he say?
I said, yeah, I'm disappointed. I was really looking forward to it. It was almost like it almost seemed like he said, I would have stayed where I was if I didn't have known this. An interesting thing, when there was rumors about him coming right back on loan after they signed him, I asked somebody that worked at the stadium, and he said to me, no, he wants to play in Champions League. And that was the answer. I was like, so the rumors aren't true. He said, there's no truth to the rumors. And that's somebody who works. That's one of my sources that works inside the stadium. But I gotta wonder. Brooklynese went to the other kind of standout star. He went to Hanover, and he's getting a lot more starts. He's playing a lot more football.
Hanover in your league, right?
What's that? Yeah, they're in our
Hanover
league,
in your league, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. They're one of those teams that bounce up and down. But they have a much better chance to go. I think that's what he was thinking. They have a chance to go to first league. So this might take it to first league.
Yeah, makes sense. They're one of the bigger teams in the second tier.
And he kept both those guys. Probably in first place right now. Yeah.
So it's strange that they didn't loan Hollaback back out if they're not going to use him at all.
Well, I think they want him on the bench. I guess they just don't want him in the Champions League bench.
I suppose because you get a certain amount of slots for the Champions League, so I think it's more limited than the league. So maybe, it's just that. Well, they just didn't have the space for him in the Champions League, but plan to use him in the Bundesliga.
They're putting him in the 80th minute. And somebody got hurt, so he did get a 30-minute run, but he wasn't able to get any production out of it. He's got to find his place, and there's guys over there like the American, Anderson. They have better strikers than they did last year.
They've got a guy on loan from Chelsea at the moment, Datro Fofana. He's playing up front for them at the moment.
Not Anderson. Who else? The guy from Team USA.
Brendan Aronson.
Aronson, yeah. Other plays for Frankfurt.
Yeah. And so, because you have that guy that Leach quite likes, Behrens, or whatever his name is, who plays up front for Union. He seems to be like their first choice man. And then they've got a guy on loan from Chelsea for Fana, ahead of Hollaback, so it's kind of tough for him.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to break through, and I think what he's thinking is, well, you got to give me a chance in order, to say that I'm not ready for this level. But I think he's not going to Champions League for the same reason Hani Mukhtar's not getting a shot for Team Germany. You came from the third league. Shut up.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. I honestly, I question some of these coaches. Are you making you're making decisions basically based on their league? I mean, they may be playing out of their league. And I think your job as a manager is to be able to identify, that guy's in the third league, but he could play for us. Here's a big free kick. Looks like Captain America's taking it.
Him or Drew? Ooh.
Drew. Drew skies it. They're not having a good day.
Yeah. Not very good.
This is a bad football week, man. Bad football week continues.
Unless you're Biscuit Basher.
Yeah, he's probably pretty happy. He's like me. He's a Mets and a Yankees fan, and I think he's an Inter and an AC fan. I know that's impossible. He kind of roots for both teams.
Markus Thuram hingegen schon 2:0. Eine frühe Führung und dann das 2:0. Inter bleibt zynisch.
Is that this half?
Well, I think. Yeah.
Jesus.
Schauen wir es uns an im
Jesus.
To be fair, we spent the first 10 minutes of the game
trying to fix this stupid thing.
Having issues, yeah.
My God, Inter. Man, oh man.
2-0 Inter at half time.
There we go. This is the first one I've done on the new.
Although, a good thing for Mukhtar is new German coach coming in, so maybe the new guy will give him a chance.
I don't think so. I think they say, oh, MLS, that's it. I think that's the way they think. And what's his name? Toothless over there is hurt. Brugal. Or was that what's his name?
Who?
The guy who plays for Bremen with the no teeth. What's his name?
Oh, Fulkrug.
Fulkrug, yeah.
He actually just joined Dortmund.
When did that happen?
It was like really late in the transfer window, like one of the last few days.
Oh, really? Lucky
Yeah.
him. Oh.
So
I didn't
like a
know
big
that.
break.
I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Fulkrug went to Dortmund. He's off of Bremen now. Poor Wolfgang. Yeah, I've been really out of it. I
Yeah,
didn't.
he
I
got an
can't
assist the other day. I think it was the first game.
That's interesting that at his age they give him a chance like that, but take it. He's not a spring chicken, Fulkrug.
I suppose the thing is, if you're someone like Dortmund, you sort of have to buy someone like that to have a chance. It's all well and good buying young players, but if you need to catch up to Bayern, sometimes you've got to buy like a 28-year-old Fulkrug if he's like the best striker you can get at the moment. So I kind of like Dortmund's team, but I really like Leipzig this year, like more than anyone. Although Leverkusen are doing really well, aren't they?
Yeah, we're playing them pretty soon.
Oh, Leipzig, you have them in the cup, don't you?
Yes, we do. We had to push it off because all those teams they had Super Cup, so we get to be their victim. Play the championship. I gotta see. What do we play next? We're Elversberg next week.
What was the result last year when you played Elversberg?
We pounded them. Right, that was their first game after World Cup, and then we got a miracle tie, which is what, and then to Saarbrücken and Dresden choked, and we were able to sneak in there. But then your team decided to score 2 goals in the 90th minute, and knocked us down. We would have got second, and then knocked us down to third. And that's probably why we lost Hollebach and Ise. To be honest with you, we paid a huge price for not finishing second, because now we're on national TV. The only football game on in Germany is Wiesbaden versus Bielefeld. And I think that I think they would have got Hollebach one way or another, but Ise, I think we could have kept another year. And I think just that everybody got to see what I got to see all year, and it's no, that guy belongs up with us. And I don't think it was. Apparently, it wasn't too difficult. You can't blame these young guys. They got to take a shot now. So I got to go a team that's got a pretty good chance of getting promoted again. You got to make that move.
Yeah.
Good for Ise, bad for Wiesbaden.
Yeah, Victor in chat is talking about Xavi Simons. Yeah, that is one of the players that makes me really like the look of Leipzig next year. Xavi Simons looks really fucking good. Really good. After his year with PSV last season. He's one of the guys that I really like the look of. That Openda they signed from the French league looks really good as well. I think they're an exciting looking team for the season. Leipzig. So yeah, probably not great for Wiesbaden.
Nope. Well, look, I got tickets to the game. I only expect them to do their best. That's a lot to overcome. Last time we had to deal with. Last time we had it, yes, it is. We had to deal with Dortmund last time, so. I'd be happy with they played them close, lose by a goal, or losing penalties. I'd be then that's a good effort for me. If all they got to do is make it difficult for them, and I think because the problem is Wiesbaden's problem with especially with all the firepower's gone. Probably one of the best defenses inside of. We've only given up like 6 games. We've given up 5 games. We've given up 6 goals. I mean, that's pretty freaking good. We're the best defenses in the league. But we're kind of exposed in the second league that our bench, as far as goal production, was thin, and I knew that last year.
Yeah. I suppose that is the problem when you're at a lower level. It's kind of hard to have a fully good squad.
Yeah. Oh God, did you hear about Russell Brand?
Oh, he's been accused of sexual assault by women,
Rape,
right?
Abuse, yeah.
And so I saw him put out that video saying,
I did. Now,
it's a load of crap.
Now it's front page though. They're really going after him.
Yeah, I started getting like news, updates on my phone about it. I don't know if I believe it.
I am pretty sure. I'll tell you right now. I don't, and that's what Me Too's all about. Me Too's about, keeping in your back pocket until you need it.
I suppose.
And he's really garnered a lot of influence over. He's garnered a lot of influence over the last year or so. Talking to people that you're not allowed to talk to. Surprised it hasn't been done to. I'm surprised it hasn't been done to. What's his face? Yeah, Joe Rogan. Calling his ex-girlfriends. No charges.
But they've tried other stuff with him, haven't they?
Yeah. No charges have been filed, right?
I don't know. I didn't really read into it. I just saw the headlines come up and I saw his video denying it. Be interesting to see how Havertz does at Arsenal.
He's doing.
So it'll be interesting to see how he does. Oh yeah, it's like bad early on, but
yeah.
They're playing him in another different role to Chelsea, so
they're booing him too.
I don't know. Really?
Yeah, they're booing him.
Well, he's such a tough player.
A lot of talent, but he seems like he strikes me as he's got his head up his ass.
Probably, yeah. Because that was the most frustrating thing as a Chelsea fan with Havertz was every single time I was ready to give up on him, he would have one of those games where he shows how good he can be, and it's just like, so hard to give up.
There's something unprofessional about him. And what I mean by professional, I mean guys that, we're talking about Ronaldo before, just take it deadly seriously. He's still out there having fun. And look, it's great if you're having fun, but I think it was in the MLS All-Star game, he was kind of exposed when he wanted to take kicks from both sides in that little contest they had, and all they needed to do, if you get the highest point, if you get if you take it from both sides, you get more points. And also, if you get a scissor kick, it's worth so much. If you get a bicycle kick, it's worth so much. He missed every shot. And all they needed
the worst performance in MLS history.
Yeah, it was. But the thing is, if you're listening to the game, one of the players on Arsenal, he says he doesn't realize that we just needed like 1 or 2. We needed goal production. The way the game was, all he had to do was tap him in. I forget what contest that was called. But I mean, that's to me, that's him in a nutshell. That penalty, that weird penalty he takes, that he consistently bops off the right post. And then when we saw him in Team Germany, he did the same thing days later. When I went to the game over here in Mainz, but he is talented. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what was always so tough as a Chelsea fan watching him, was whenever I was ready to give up, he has one of those games where he shows what he can do, and it's like, oh, you can't give up now because the player's there somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
It's just,
Yeah, he's one of
so frustrating.
He's one of those guys. Yeah, he's one of those guys that if he really starts to blossom, like how come we didn't keep him? You know.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like that Dortmund game we covered, where he was like unbelievably good up front. He was just doing everything up there. Like he was so good. Like that player every week would genuinely be one of the best in the world. It just doesn't happen.
No, not for him.
It's so frustrating.
When do we got that game coming up?
Alles super easy. Einfach tanken, aufladen, einkaufen und vieles mehr. Alles super.
Yeah, we got them 27, day before my birthday there.
This month?
Yeah. September 27th, RB Leipzig.
Nice.
So, I got tickets to the game next Saturday and a couple days later, so yeah.
Jetzt neu. 2,5% Alkohol und 100% Pilzgeschmack. Warsteiner Extra.
Wenn wir alleine sind, können wir einiges leisten. Wenn wir dabei die Unterstützung spüren, sind wir zu Außergewöhnlichem fähig.
Als Finanzcoach unterstützt sie Ihr Vermögensberater bei Absicherung, Altersvorsorge und Vermögensaufbau. Deutsche Vermögensberatung.
Commercials are wild. Oh! I tell you, a couple weeks ago, some guy tried to start a fight with me in front of my wife and kid at a game at the Schalke game. In front of his daughter too, who looked like she didn't want to be there. Obviously, it was a sellout. There's a lot of Schalke fans and outside that weren't with the ultras, right? Actually, two funny things happened. I kind of made a jerk myself too. What German screamed down and he's like, "Hey Hollabach, hey Hollabach," and I turned around. I turned around. He's like, I turned around. I yelled in English. I said, "Yeah," and he's playing in the Champions League, unlike you. Like right. And the German guys looked at me like, "What the? What?" And then my wife's like, "They just told you your shoes were untied." My shoe was untied. They were trying to tell me, "Hey, Hollabach, your shoe was untied," because I had the jersey on, right? So that was the first. I actually apologized to them, but they were like, "I don't know, that guy's great." I don't think the Schalke people realize how many English-speaking people are in the stands in Wiesbaden, because it's really kind of a quasi-American town. And there's tons of English and there's tons of Irish that live in town as well. So yeah, made me feel pretty foolish. I did. I said I raised my hand up and said I was sorry. You're young guys, but they were more shocked. Why is that guy yelling at me? I thought they were busting my balls. My wife did say they probably weren't gonna bust your balls when you went down to tie your shoe. So maybe you beat them to it. So I leaned over to my wife and I said, I go, they got a goal production problem. This offense the chemistry needs to improve. And I leaned over and said that. And then I saw a guy in the corner of my eye kind of yelling and screaming. I thought he's ball busting like those other guys were. So I ignored him, and he's ball busting in German. And then my wife said to me at the end of the game, "Well, that guy was really trying to start in with you." I saw him win, but I didn't hear what he said. She goes, "I heard what he said." I said, "What did he say?" He said, "What did you say, asshole?" And I'm like, why would he say that? All I said to you, I was trying to figure it out. I was like, all I said to you is Wiesbaden needs to improve, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really strange. And I was like, wow, acting that way in front of your kids. I mean, this is an Ultras thing. But then I kind of figured it out a day later. Prior to that, Eileen, there was a play where a Schalke player, he was fouled, but he screamed at the top of his lung and started rolling around on the ground. And I leaned over to him just prior to that. He must have heard me. I said, that guy screamed like a woman. And I was like, and my wife said, that's embarrassing. I was like, yeah, he's screaming like a girl. I mean, like, he wasn't fouled that hard, you know? And I think he was pissed off about that.
He was pissed about that.
Yeah, he was pissed about that. So when I leaned over again, he was probably all said, by the way, we got kickoff right now. Get on screen for you.
Yeah, second half started.
Big game. It ain't over. Big game. Right after this, we got New York, and I'll watch that, and then Messi plays at 10 o'clock UK time.
When's the New York game? Right after.
Right after this.
Ooh.
Diese Jungs da hinten in der Dreierkette machen das ja auch völlig unaufgeregt. Also sie kommen ja auch aus einem Champions.
Could you tell if the guy was pissed or not?
I knew the guy was pissed prior to that, but I thought he was busting my nuts because his team scored. I thought he was like banter, and I was like, whatever. I'm not gonna yell at somebody who can't even speak my language. And then I told you that incident happened prior where I kind of made an ass of myself.
Yeah.
I don't mind ball busting.
That does make me laugh. That is quite funny from them.
It's a funny story. Huh? Like, he just told you to tie your sneaker. There's a lot of blue in the stands. I wasn't used to that.
So yeah, Schalke are like a massive club, so I can imagine.
Yeah, they're a big club. Yeah. By the way, their fans are great. They're well behaved, except for that guy. They're well behaved. They didn't even when we did our silly song. They kept quiet. They didn't. They could have. They had so many. They had so they could have completely shouted it down. They respected that, and they were loud the rest of the time, but they were fine. And I noticed there were a lot of families even in the ultra stands too. So it was really maybe they're like us. We're a family club. We're not a hardcore. We're not like Bielefeld or something. We're not like a hardcore working class or a union or anything like that. We're not one of those clubs.
I think they're originally like a workers sort of team.
They were. Maybe it's here's the thing. Originally, yeah, but I mean it's probably a rich town now. Sometimes maybe. Working class towns turn into they get rich. That's the end of that. But no, they were.
Because I don't know too much about Gelsenkirchen, but I don't know. I have it somewhere in my head, but they were like a mining place or something.
It may have been at one time. Maybe that's changed. But it wasn't like Bielefeld where all the fans were male. Like it was it was
like more family.
9 to 1. It was like 90. It was when Bielefeld was there. I mean, they tried to set the whole town on fire. It was a 9 to 1 female ratio.
Yeah.
But the Schalke, they were. It was actually kind of nice having them. They filled up the stadium, and it was really good.
It's strange when you have a game where there's loads of away fans.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. The strangest experience I've had as a Braintree fan was when we played Leyton Orient. Because Leyton Orient, they've always been like a league team, League One. They were Championship 1 point, League Two. They're big and they're sort of London based. And then they ended up dropping down because they had some terrible management for a few years. And they came to our league, and that was so strange. Literally, half a stand behind the goal, Braintree fans. Rest of the stadium was just Leyton Orient fans.
Yeah, it is.
Because they're literally a huge club, and it's not too far from us. It was really strange. We were kind of basically away fans in our own stadium against Leyton Orient. It was so strange.
I'm usually on the opposite of that because I used to go to a lot of Devil Ranger games in New Jersey. And
Yeah.
a lot. Sometimes, I think it's still a split crowd to this day. But sometimes more Ranger fans. It sounds like Madison Square Garden more than it sounds like that they're in the home. So I'm usually on the other end of that. So yeah, it's a little weird. Tommy didn't like it at all. It really bothered. He didn't like the show. He didn't appreciate them. But I mean, after the firecrackers incident, setting stuff on fire and generally acting like a bunch of assholes when Bielefeld, they were fine. It was a nice, it was a beautiful day. It was blue sky. We saw a lot of them around town afterwards. We saw a lot of them downtown afterwards. Obviously shopping. It's a good place to go shopping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was fine with me. It's bringing in money to town, so.
Yeah. I always like that when you get on with like other fans, like they're not dicks. Like I remember we went to Tunbridge Angels once, me and a friend, and I asked their Twitter account online which pubs to go to before the game, and they said a pub, and there was a bunch of their fans in there, and so they were like singing songs, making a laugh because I was wearing my Braintree shirt there.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting absolutely smashed, like 5-1. Me and my friend walked out early because like 4-0 because we were like, oh, fuck this! It had been raining all day. We're just going back to the pub. We've been absolutely smashed, and they started singing "We Can See You Sneaking Out" when we were walking out, and so I gave them a big wave, and they sort of laughed. And a few of their fans came over to us in the pub after, and we sat and had a chat with them for like an hour. They were like really nice guys. It's just so nice when you can have that with other fans where. Yeah, we just had a chat, had a laugh for a good hour. It was really nice. And then you get some teams where there's like you just like,
I don't know if it'll be like that next week. I don't think Elversberg's a bit. They're probably sort of a town like ours, but it's our most hated rival. So I don't know if it'll be much like that. But I don't think it'll be because like we're a bad traveling team. I noticed in the stands. With Paderborn, I don't think we had more than 20 or 30 people there. The away stands for Paderborn, but Elversberg, we'll go to Elversberg. They'll show up big for that one, so they'll
local derby.
It's a derby because of fourth league stuff that goes back a long time. Yeah. And then another thing is we blew them away years ago. It's really a rivalry between Tannestein, not so much Wiesbaden. And they've got promoted 2 years in a row. And then they got promoted from
Elversberg
regionals.
had.
Yes, they got promoted from the regionals last year, and they got promoted to the second league. I think somebody. I couldn't see what was so special about them because every time we played them well. But they didn't lose too much handball on Paulsek. A little quiet today, number 11.
Their whole attack has been a bit quiet. They've had like the odd chance, but other than that, I think all of them have been really. Milan haven't shown a lot. It's been a quiet second half so far.
Not a good showing for the first big derby.
See, that's the thing, like Inter went ahead early and they've sort of just comfortably been ahead since.
Get the feeling that Inter's playing Italian football. AC Milan's trying to do something else. That hurt, huh?
I bet.
Oh, wow, taking him out.
On.
That bad?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's just going to be a normal sub. Because Chukwueze plays a different position. Chukwueze's a really exciting player. I like him. He's one of those like really technical wingers. Who like to dribble. So he might be able to make a bit of a difference coming on.
All sick. Oof. Woo! Soft call by the ref, but I'll take it. I might have let that go. I'll be honest with you. Oh, woo, woo, we got rain.
I don't know, yeah.
All right. All right, that means we got rain on screen, too.
Ooh la la. The new graphics.
Yeah, I got rain if we need rain. I also got snow.
Very nice, very nice.
Just ugly, ugly chances. Sincere's still a cool looking park. You know they want. I know both teams want out of there real bad, but I would even say they need to get out of there, both of them.
I don't know how. I don't know when they take it down. I'm not sure if it's next year or not.
Is that deal done?
I don't know exactly. I know there was talk that it was. I think they got permission, but I don't know if there's people like kicking up a fuss about it.
I know some of the fans are, but here's the thing: it'd be better for both teams if they played in different parks.
I'm not sure if they will though. I think they might.
No, they will. They'll just play in
just both play in the new one. I'm not too sure on the details. I think it's just to like update all the facilities and everything they're going to build.
It's a big deal because they make a lot of money selling crap out of those. Geez, we have them in mind, but this stadium's just too old. I mean, it's a nice park. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not modernized, and it's, from what I understand, you can't update it to the point where they needed, to sell. In the States, we call them boxes, and like we have a restaurant in mind, like a really fancy restaurant in the Maui Arena. They don't have stuff like that here, and you can't just shoehorn it in. And you need that stuff nowadays, apparently. Yeah, that's
why you see a lot of teams, like you saw Tottenham recently, build a whole new stadium, and you had Arsenal back into like the 2000s make the Emirates and stuff. So yeah, it seems to be one of those things where like sooner or later you have to build a new one.
Speaking of Tottenham,
there's been lots of talk about.
Here's an opportunity. Here's a big chance, and they bury it.
Oh, it's a nice finish from Leao.
Wow.
Milan are right back in it.
We got a game.
The danger man, Leao.
Like Leao, I like he's a hustler.
Yeah, he's good.
He's a hustler.
He's really good. Nice little ball in behind.
I know it's not good for him, but I like guys that chase down balls for lost causes. And Leao's one of those guys, and I appreciate that. It's good hustle, but it probably takes years off your career.
Probably, yeah. But at the same time, like, that's the thing with football. Like, it's a game of margins sometimes, and sometimes having someone who will run down every ball, you never know. Sometimes they'll just steal something and score, and it can change an entire game.
That's what I loved about Hollebach. He was the king of lost causes, and every so often he would at very least disrupt them, because your pass. It's the same thing with hockey. Your pass out of your own end, that first second, it's really two passes in football, but hockey be one because the field's smaller. But those first two passes are so important, because if you can't make them, you have a turnover situation, and now they're on the 18-yard line. You have to make those passes clean, especially for no other reason, to break out quicker too.
Yeah. Well, it's the things like recent sort of years, counter pressing has become a massive thing. Where as soon as you lose the ball, you get into a pressing position to try and win it back as quick as possible, high up the pitch. Because it just makes such a difference if you can stop them getting out from their defensive area to get the ball back again. Well, it changes so much.
Well, I guess you got the Red Bull offense, and you got Klopp's
his heavy metal
his gegenpress, and you're gonna have to counter that somehow. And it's just this game evolves.
Big time. So I think if you keep winning the ball in their area, you're keeping the pressure on constantly. They're always in trouble, sort of thing. If you can win the ball back quickly, and it just makes so much difference for them. And so a player like Liao, who will just constantly run at them, can literally make such a difference just by running at them, because he will occasionally just win that ball. He will get into that position, which can then turn into a goal out of nowhere.
Or force a bad pass. That's
exactly.
That's, I think you force a bad pass, and you put the defenders in a bad spot.
I think that's one of the reasons why the Premier League has like sort of become the hardest league in the world, is because everyone plays like that now. You get no space on the ball when you're in the Premier League anymore.
Chance for AC Milan here, working it in. They're in the box. Liao makes a chip wide. Playing great. Love the way he's playing, though. Where's he from, anyway?
And so since he scored, he's Portuguese.
Portuguese. Good English. He's great English. Seems like a nice kid, too. I just really appreciate all the nice things he said about Pulisic. And I think I seem to make it clear I want to play with him. Interesting. Pulisic's got 2 goals in 5 games, but he does not have any assists. Maybe it's because they moved him up front. He's a Pulisic's a playmaker. He can make things happen.
Oh yeah,
but they're going with 3 up front. It
might just be a case, because I've not watched them so far, so I don't know. But it could just be a case where maybe when you look at it, he's not got the assist, but maybe he's got the pass, which leads to assist potentially.
Sure.
In his new position, where he's not necessarily the guy making the last pass.
Secondary assists are criminally undercounted in this game, because if you give me a great ball and then I cross it to the right, just tap it over to you, that's not exactly very difficult. But the guy that made the play happen. So secondary, from what Green Man tells me, that the coaches pay close attention to it. But I'm also surprised that they don't award that like they do in hockey, secondary assists, because sometimes the secondary assist is much more important than the last guy that touched the ball before the goal.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the future that is a thing they count, because
really should
when you get into like advanced statistics, you have things like expected threat, which sort of takes that into count, where they count like how much threat to the goal you've created rather than like pure goals and assists.
It's not a difficult stat to key. It's not like it has to be advanced stats either. It's just the last 2 guys to touch the ball. That's all you got to do. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like advanced stats are already doing it, and you're seeing with things like XG becoming more mainstream. Where like I think in time it will become more of a mainstream thing, which they count and talk about more. Because it seems to be, it always comes into advanced stats first, and then it becomes popular after.
I see.
Yeah.
But I see the thing is that I don't know the word for it, but advanced stats can be a bit. Some of the way they take them from other sports, they could be they could be kind of subjective. The way they count, like what they count as counting for the statistic can be a little bit subjective, which kind of defeats the purpose, I think, in a lot of cases.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I remember there was this.
That's always the thing with stats in sports, isn't it? It's like you always have to. You can use, they're like more there to point you in the direction of what to look out for rather than like exactly.
Yeah, but if the stat is flawed, and if the stat is flawed itself, and you're making decisions based on the stat, there was a stat in the NHL which I don't think they pay any attention to. I forget what it was called, but it was control of the puck when you don't have it. Or something like that. Well, what's considered? What's considered? Like, what do you consider that? Well, somebody has to make a subjective judgment. And I don't think it's a very solid stat. And I think the LA Kings led the league in whatever this particular stat was. I don't remember. It's 10 years ago. The playoffs that year. Yeah. So that was the end of that stat. But if you listen to all these the stat nerds and the sort of we call it like the hipster hockey fans at the time, that this thing was. You know what it was, that movie Moneyball really had an impact on sports, but it was I think people started treating advanced stats in 2012, 13, 14 after Moneyball came out as codes to be unlocked. It doesn't work that way, you know. Maybe in like a turn-based game like baseball, it's a little more that's turn-based. But you get a game like hockey or football where like you can't calculate shanking the ball and it going behind you or something like that. Just a weird, a strange bounce that seems to defy the laws of physics. You can't count like turn-based games. It makes a little more sense.
Yeah, like I think football's getting to that stage now where they've gone through the phase of just looking and going by advanced stats to the point where now people have realised that where it's now more of like advanced stats are more used more as like a guideline for things. So like you see, I don't know, this team's doing really well in this stat, so you go and watch the team and look out for it and be like,
I've seen it used as
this is why sort of thing.
A guideline I have no problem with, but it started. It's like I said, it started like treating it like, oh, this is the code. No, it's not a code. It's they were treating it like a scientific fact.
That football's definitely had that problem in the expected goals is a big thing. XG, that's a big thing that was treated like that, where people are, oh well, this team's doing so much better on their XG compared to what they're scoring. They're this good, and now it's got to the point where people are starting to realise, okay, we can't just rely on how the team's doing XG wise. You see that they're doing well on XG, and then you watch and see, oh, okay, yeah, they're doing well, but the chances they're creating aren't actually that good when you watch them. So it's not like gospel anymore. Whereas it definitely was like past few years. It definitely sort of got to a point where people were using that as gospel. Like, oh yeah, this team's better than they are because look at the XG stats.
Yeah.
And we're starting to transition out of that now, where people are looking more like, okay, we look at this and then you investigate the team after you see the stats to then really understand whether the stats support what's actually happening or it's sort of like misleading.
There's a difference between a guideline and an indicator, and they were treating it like indicators. And I think that's a problem. It's just, I don't think that you can't calculate this.
Yeah, I think there's just so much variance that, I think you can't ever go strictly by what the stats say. You always have to watch for yourself. And you sort of just use stats to sort of point you in the direction to look.
And the word variance is the key, because the stats are being treated like this is something that limits if it does not completely eliminate variance. That's bullshit. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, there's a ball. It's on a field. It rolls. Strange things can happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's so much that can change. Like for example, XG. Like a team may be creating high XG in a game, but then you watch the game, it's like they've had just loads of really bad chances, which have added up to making it look like they've done well statistically.
Yeah.
But you watch the game, it's like they never really had a good shot, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, or they have a midfielder that had like 5 bad turnovers.
Yeah. And so Bruno Fernandes is a player like that for Manchester United, where he has like a lot of turnovers and stuff where it looks bad, but then you watch and it's because he takes lots of risks.
Yeah.
And when those risks pay off, they pay off big, sort of thing. So
that's boy. That's it, Jack.
Mkhitaryan with the brace. Mickey, you're so fine.
That's it, Jack.
You'd think so.
Yeah, I think so. I'm glad my bet didn't go through.
It's a shame for Milan, because they did sort of get back into it a bit and they were having chances, but into getting a goal now, surely the
there's something very janky about the way they're playing. You see a lot of guys having trouble handling passes. I don't know if that could be through the weather or something like that, but Inter doesn't seem to be having those problems. You're getting a lot of guys. You get a pass. You're getting a pass, and then the first touch isn't so hot, and they have to recover from that first touch. I've seen a lot of that on AC Milan's side.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's tough playing away from home.
Yeah. They are the away team after all.
Yeah, right.
Milan war in Ballbesitz, wollte es über links aufbauen und da hat Çalhanoğlu wunderbar antizipiert, hat den Pass abgefangen und so das Ganze dann.
I've always found it interesting how they both have different names for the stadium as well. So Milan fans call it the San Siro, whereas Inter fans more likely to call it the Giuseppe Meazza.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
I think you have different names for the derby too, depending what team you're on as well. I think I learned that today. And the singers are out in force.
Wobei wir dann auch wieder Çalhanoğlu, der das Ganze intelligent einleitet. Wobei wir dann auch bei
down the last 20 minutes here.
Sind. Also das, was von der Bank kam jetzt von Inter, das hat nun mal richtig klasse. Und damit können sie dann eben auch in der 70.
I'll get into it with Dumfries a little bit.
Fahren im Vergleich zum Gegner.
Trude's had a quiet day too.
Yeah. So attacking wise, it's only really been Leao that seems to have made an impact as such. And so Pulisic seems to have struggled when he's got the ball.
No, he's not done well. He's got to have at least 12 goals this year to really make it worth it. If he wants to continue to play at this level.
Yeah.
We started
off. I've always been a believer in Pulisic. So, yeah, I think... Yeah. I think it's just strange how that happens sometimes, where sometimes it just doesn't work when you're somewhere. No matter what, it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Well, I don't think he was well liked there.
It might have been a case where...
Didn't believe in him. It's clearly... that's the first thing he said. He went to... It's weird that, it's nice being on a team where people believe in you. Where I think he said that about Eric Berhalter for Team USA, because they definitely believe in him and give him a lot of responsibility there.
Well, yeah, he's the main man, isn't he, really?
Yeah.
It might have been a case at Chelsea where they sort of just made the decision, right, this guy's not in our plans, so...
Yeah, I think that's it.
Maybe.
He's not in our... I think that was it right there.
Give minutes to someone
and
who
we know
we're
Chelsea's
actually
been,
going to
for
use.
the last 5 years, have been making, or ever since they won, they've been making incredibly good decisions. It's really hard to believe that Chelsea's a team just not that long ago that won the damn league, the whole Champions League.
It's crazy to think that, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's been one Champions League winner since Chelsea.
Yeah.
Literally one Champions League ago, we were the winners. I'm hopeful for Chelsea. I like the decisions the new owners have made.
I like the fact they sort of conceded and they're already kind of threw this season away to rebuild something. I think that especially it's very difficult to do that in London. It's sort of like being in New York, not soccer-wise, I'm just talking sports-wise. It's very difficult for New York teams to rebuild. And you got to rebuild. You rebuild by starting slowly and working your way up. I do like it. I hope it pays off, but...
Especially considering Chelsea, out of all the London clubs, has always been the you got to win or you're out team as well.
Well, that's the thing. Will it work? Will the fans start getting itchy if they don't get European football this year? But maybe they've made strides in other areas.
So that's the thing. It's like, Chelsea, like, people are laughing a bit because Chelsea aren't winning again. But you look at all the signings, everyone's under 25 years of age.
Yeah,
every single player they've signed is a long-term project. They're building a team to be good in the future.
Yeah, they won't
rather
be
than
laughing
right
if they're
now.
dominating like it's the mid 2000s again. You know, nobody will be laughing
Yeah.
then. You know, but
That's
how
why I have hope for what's going on. It's
how
because
patient can the
everyone's
fans
they're
be?
building rather than buying now.
Yeah,
I
agree
don't
with
think
you.
they're very patient. I think that's why Potter went, was because they're impatient.
Yeah.
I think it was like the ownership sort of panicked a bit where things weren't going too well and the fans were impatient, so they got rid of Potter then.
Yeah.
But I think they sort of learned from that with how it went terribly under Lampard
And
after. I think
Potter
they'll
might not have been
stick
the
by
right guy for the job. He's a little too new. He definitely has more of a prospect. But then again, you look at what Angie's doing in Tottenham.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's just won
started off on
Manager of
fire,
the
yeah.
Month. I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw.
No, I didn't. But I did wake up to Harry Kane made a big mistake. What are you talking about? Tottenham, were they in first place? Tottenham?
I don't think they're top, but they're up there.
Yeah, Tommy.
But you'd think they're not going to win the
league.
league, are they? Let's be
No.
real.
I don't think that matters. There's 4 spots. You know, Champions League would be a huge victory for them.
They're second at the moment because
Second,
I'm sure you can guess who's top of the league.
Yeah, yes, Man City.
To no one's surprise.
Without Kevin De Bruyne, and there was some doubts about them. Mostly because Haaland didn't start off on fire like he did last year.
But they've still managed to win every single game this season so far.
Exactly.
It just speaks to cities.
ESPN FC
it's just cities, isn't it?
ESPN FC is painful to watch sometimes. A lot of times they don't got shit to talk about. So they make controversies where there's not. I brought up the Schweinsteiger thing to you that really made me crazy. Schweinsteiger said something about German football. Let's get back to playing German football because Pep had an influence that he thought was negative. He did not say Pep sucked. He did not say that Pep didn't do a great job in Bayern, right? What he said was we got to get back. I think Pep trying to pay like Pep might not suit the German system that well. That got to then I got those idiots. How could he say he's a smart guy? Why would he say something? No, he is a smart guy. You're stupid. He didn't say anything. They framed it like he was criticizing Pep. He wasn't.
He was just saying the way Pep plays doesn't necessarily suit the German players, rather than saying Pep's way is bad, which, I mean, could be a fair argument. You look at how Germany have been recently; they're not doing too great.
Well, how do you win the World Cup and then you win the World Cup? It had nothing to do with Pep. Bayern has a couple good seasons with Pep, and we changed the national team. That doesn't make any sense. And it's one of these things where Bayern has way too much influence on the national team.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, so they changed it. They play ticky-tack. Now the national team's got to play ticky-tack. Nothing wrong with
it's insane how much influence they have. I don't know if you remember, it was like 2 years ago, I think, Ter Stegen, the Barca keeper, the German national team wanted to bring him in as the number one, and to replace Neuer. And Bayern basically turned around to the team and was like, we're not going to let any of our players play in the national team unless you play Neuer over Ter Stegen. They were kind of forced to because most of the best players play there. It's like crazy how much influence they can have over the national team if they want to.
We have a penalty coming up. Looks like they're really going to put it away. Yeah.
Hakan Çalhanoğlu to take.
Schon gegen die Fiorentina vom Punkt getroffen. Und hat ja eine gewisse Vorgeschichte mit Milan. Mal schauen, falls jetzt das passiert, was nach einem Elfmeter oft passiert, nämlich ein Tor, wie das Ganze bejubeln würde.
Menja oder Çalhanoğlu?
Da schwingt einiges mit.
Ugh.
Yeah. Game over.
Game over. Continue.
Çalhanoğlu slots at home. 4-1 Inter. I didn't have that on the cards going into this game. I thought it'd be a bit closer, to be honest.
Davon will wenig wissen. Jetzt bejubelt er dieses Tor ausführlich.
Müssen wir kurz die Vorgeschichte vielleicht erzählen. Schauen wir noch
It's been a
mal.
rough day, man. Oh, my kid got beat like 8-2. Ooh,
Oh, and his
rough.
his game.
Yeah.
Ja.
Aber der Ball im
They
Netz, also
they
die
played a much
Vorgeschichte,
better
als
team than
Milan
they played
Meister
the
wurde
week
vor 2
prior.
Jahren, da waren die Feierlichkeiten
What position does your son play?
Center back.
Milan-Spieler mit Transparenten.
Yeah, I was gonna.
None of the
I
goals.
would have guessed that.
None of the goals came on his side.
war da ja schon bei Inter und hat gemeint,
That's always the way.
nichts dazu
None of
The
the goals
big
came in.
kid
He did
goes at
break.
centre back.
Yeah, I think that's
Inter dann
happened.
die Supercoppa gewonnen hat. Dieses
Yeah.
3-0
I did get on his case a little bit. He was kind of sleeping out there, picking at his fingers a little bit. And I did say something to him. It's like, you and a few other guys on the team acted like he didn't want to be there.
Mm.
You know, I guess he just had an off day. You know what I said to him today? We were driving home. I said, "You want to go to the Mainz game?" No. And I said, "What's wrong with you? You know, what's like you don't have to go." He said, "Well, I want to watch Liverpool," and I'm like, "Okay," and he did. He watched the Liverpool game. He said he likes Liverpool because he can swim there. I don't know where he got that. And he watched the whole game.
I mean, he made the right choice after seeing
Yeah.
the Mainz score.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that'd have been a rough one to go to. I'm glad we didn't go, actually. Yeah. But I mean, like, I guess I asked him, I was like, is this too much? He's footballed out. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, he doesn't know. Guess he wanted to chill, you know?
Yeah.
But he just didn't, wasn't. He's not in here now. I know he likes Polisek, but I guess I want to chill today. No, he worked real hard in practice all week, because I go to all his practices.
Yeah.
He had a game last week, but only one goal came on his side. It's when they put him, because they have unlimited substitution, and they put him in at the end, but it was already like 6-1 at that point. They broke up
His
all
team
the
or the others?
Yeah, they were way up at that point. Well, one of the things is the goalie couldn't clear the ball, and he kept on clearing it to the center. So he'd do a drop kick, and it would bounce off an opponent, and that rebound would turn into a goal. He was told to either roll the ball or kick it to the side. He insisted on going straight up the middle. It would deflect off another player, and he did it 4 times in a row. So, like, every single one, and they were all on Tommy. It was nice. He was initially putting the ball down and passing it to Tommy, and Tommy got it up to the midfielder.
Yeah.
The midfielders and the forwards weren't passing to each other, so they just ran the ball in, and then they'd come right back down. So, I was the coach, I'd take that goalie aside, and he's going to have to start. I mean, you can afford to do that in, like, half field, you know? You can roll it, you know? And like I say, that first pass is so important.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah, it's so important. I don't
If you
think
lose
kids don't
it as
realize.
soon as you kick it out, you're basically, you're
done.
just throwing away the ball.
Yeah,
aren't
you're throwing
you,
away.
really?
You're giving a goal away, and now's not the. And in fairness, if I had to bitch about the coaches hadn't been working with the goalies at all.
Yeah.
And I think what happened was last week, the team they were up against was just they were slower, and we have a lot of fast kids up front, and they just outran them. And it just didn't work this time. And their team was doing backward passes when they got in trouble, which is really unusual at that age. They were running a ball up, turning around, dropping the ball like the forwards are dropping it back to the midfielders. And their crosses were on the money. And also, I noticed they had a number 7 on the other team. They had a kid that could lift the ball pretty consistently. If you could lift the ball at this level, All you got to do is put it in the corners. They can't. It's an impossible shot to retreat when you're only, barely 5 feet tall.
Yeah, you're not reaching that.
Yeah. He did score in a penalty though. They have a penalty shootout at the end, which I think is really nice. No matter what, they have a penalty shootout. He did bad. He bopped it off the post, the right post and in. But even then, he didn't celebrate after he scored. What's going on?
I've been watching too much Kai Havertz.
No, Kai Havertz wants to be there at least. I never get the feeling that he doesn't want to be there.
I suppose.
You know.
He's too cool for school, though, isn't he?
No, he just went. No, he went up. It was a nice kick, and goalie actually went the wrong way, hit it off the post, and he just walked off. Kind of cool, like he does it all the time.
Mentality monster.
He didn't celebrate at all. What the problem was? I told him, you guys. I go, I'll never. I go. You're gonna have it. You're center back. You're gonna have a goal. You're gonna have a bad game. You're gonna make a bad pass. I will never yell at you for that. But boy, you gotta show. You gotta want to be there. Spending too much money for him not to want to be. Yeah, he's a kid. Who knows?
Yeah, that's the thing with kids.
Well, I wonder.
I know when I was younger, I'd have days like that.
Yeah, I've already taken. I wonder if I've spoiled him a little bit because I've already taken him to more sporting events. I think that my father was able to take because soccer's cheaper.
Yeah.
Then
I've everything in Europe seems to be cheaper sport-wise.
Yeah, sport-wise. Yeah. I've already taken him to more events. By the time he was 7, then my father took me. Couldn't afford to drop $60-$70 to go to New York City all the time. His entire life, so he's gotten kind of used to it.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, that's the struggle with these things because you never know which way it's going to go. It could ignite more of a passion for it all.
Yeah.
Or it could sort of burn him out. You never know.
Well, he was really into it when that Leagues Cup. He was really focused on that. He's got a full Messi kit for Inter Miami. He loves that kit. Wears it every day if he could. Yeah, maybe it's too much. Maybe got to slow down a little bit. But he's got to put in effort. That I won't tolerate.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad play, that's one thing. He's not a pro. We're not trying to make a pro. Lack of effort, that's a problem. Bad day at the office, but bad for everybody.
Yeah, I suppose that's the right mentality to sort of drill in. Is as long as you try, that's
that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Nothing. Yeah. You're gonna have bad days, but as long as you're putting in the effort, that's what matters.
Passing is the improvement he's had on this team is dramatic. I don't know. Verse was busting my nuts. He's like, when the coach is actually taking interest and work with him, you saw an improvement. Shocking, because we weren't the other team. We weren't seeing the improvement. We see an improvement every week, every practice. This is today was the only step backwards he's taken since he's been on this team. You know,
yeah.
And it wasn't because he really didn't he made one dangerous pass across the mouth of the goal, which I didn't agree with, and got a little lucky.
That's one of the football basics. You don't pass across goal. At least that's what they used to always teach me. You never pass across goal.
They taught me that, and then you got to pass across goal when you're older. But yeah, that's what they taught me.
Yeah,
when
it was
I was
one
a
of
kid.
the footballing basics when I was.
They seem to allow it a little more here, but I mean. Yeah, don't try to hit a guy across goal. And I even said don't try to because you don't know if they can handle the pass. Even if it's a good pass, you don't know if they can handle it. I'll say that before he goes to bed. No more. Let me get him in here. We'll teach him. This ought to be funny. Maybe you can help him out here. See what a great dad I am.
Giving him all the football tips.
Yeah, hold on, here we go. Graphic of football pitch.
Heute ist es nicht gelungen, an den ersten 3 Spieltagen aber schon. Dementsprechend ist da schon
Okay.
vieles da, auf was du auch aufbauen kannst.
I like to go up and down. Yeah, I'll take that one.
Ist einfach eine Nummer zu
Adobe
groß,
stock.
aber das, glaube ich, gilt nicht.
Tommy, get in here.
Das gilt in Italien für fast alle anderen auch.
Tommy, get in here. Tom? Does he sleep?
Aslani gefoult.
Get in here when you get a chance.
Jetzt spielen sie es einfach runter.
There you go.
Die 5 Minuten Nachspielzeit.
All right. You're center back, right? Usually there'd be 3 guys here, but you guys playing 7-on-7, so you're playing the left side, right?
In the middle.
Well, you're center back, but there's usually there's several center backs, right? But you had 2 guys, right? No more passes across the mouth of the goal, okay? So that it's too dangerous, because here's the thing. This is what I realized. You know, you guys are still learning. Even if you make a good pass, if he bobbles it with a bad touch, what happens? Yeah, they get a goal, usually. Because that's what was happening with the goalie. The goalie was, look at my fingers here. He was trying to clear it. It bounced off a player, and then the other player came in and put it in the net. So no more passes like that, okay? That's the only thing you did. Otherwise, you stopped every play. There's only one play on the other side over here that you didn't stop. You broke up every play. I liked when you were over here and the goalie pad, and then you moved it upfield. I like that. No more passes across the mouth, all right? All right. There you go. Yep.
Football lessons with Tommy C.
Yeah, I did. I mean, he gets in there. He challenges the best he can. He breaks up a lot of play. I mean, it's the size helps. You know, you get even a quick kid. You get a quick kid, and he keeps it simple. He runs up and takes it away, and he's also. I also know he's. I'm actually trying to teach him to you can push the guy away without even putting a hand on him. If you run at an angle, you force him to the side.
Especially with his size as well. That's the thing. Is like, if you're bigger than them, even if they're quicker, if you get over, they're gonna struggle because your size. You can just dominate them. That's the thing as a defender, is your positioning is always like the most important aspect of it, because
Jesus, there's another one.
Oh,
Make it 5-1.
5-1. Wow.
Blowout.
I really didn't see this coming. I don't know if it's a 5-1 game, but Milan haven't played well.
No.
I think, like Inter definitely deserve this win.
Absolutely.
If maybe it's a bit more than they should have, but.
Die Dynamik von Mkhitaryan in Minute 93 noch, der Doppeltorschütze, der hier nochmal anzieht. Und Fratesi ist genau für sowas geholt worden. Ein Meister darin, auch diese tiefen Läufe, eben diese Torgefahr auszustrahlen.
Fortunately, it wasn't much of a contest.
Gegen die Ukrainer vor wenigen Tagen. Carlos Augusto mit dem gewonnenen Zweikampf, da gibt es Diskussionen. Da hat sich Pioli auch aufgeregt, aber die
This bops him down to
nice
third.
Assist.
Yeah, this bops him down to third place. Milan, below Juventus.
Für mich schon seit 1,5 Jahren herausragend. Der kommt immer in Abschlusspositionen.
I reckon Italy will be an interesting title run.
Italian League was very exciting last year. There's no doubt about it. I feel like I didn't cover enough games. I didn't have a lot of players that interest me either over there, but now I do.
See, I'm the opposite. I really like the Italian League. I really like a lot of their players. It's definitely one I've always kept an eye on.
Well,
But yeah, I think it should be another good title run this year. Because the thing with Inter is they're playing really well at the moment, but they showed last year they just sometimes just go for rough patches. So that might happen again, which means they won't run away with it this year, which could keep it interesting.
Well, they get to, they get another, because they went to the finals, so they get a champion, so they're automatic to the Champions League, right?
I don't think you do if you make the final.
No, you make the final.
I think it's only if you
made
win
it.
it.
No, they're in
you
there.
get
They
guaranteed.
finished third. They finished third. They're in there anyway.
Yeah, they finished third anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Napoli, Lazio,
Napoli.
Inter, and who was the fourth
And
team?
AC Milan. They're in there too.
Oh, AC came fourth. Oh, okay. I thought Lazio would be better this year than they have been. They've disappointed me a bit.
Because Man City won the league. Is there an extra slot in the English league?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay.
But I think there is an extra slot with the new rules.
Oh, okay. Oh, coming in.
Because now a fifth team can get in based off UEFA coefficient. So if someone like Manchester United finishes like 6th or 5th, but they're like high enough in the UEFA coefficient, they can also get a slot even though they don't finish in the top 4.
But that's if an English team wins it.
No, that's just in general.
Right.
So if like Brighton, with how well Brighton are playing, if Brighton finish 4th, we could get a 5th Premier League team in the Champions League because it'll be a team with a high coefficient. They might be able to get in. I don't know exactly, but that's like the new rules. It was like one of the ways to kill off the Super League was to basically say, look, okay, we'll let teams get in based on like if they're historically like a Champions League team.
So it looks like it's been killed. Juventus just dropped out of it, and it's just looked like it's going to happen. I don't have a problem with Super League, but they'd have to. They can't have promotion. It can't be like an American league. They have to give me promotion relegation. The only way I think them doing it, the first leagues in our countries would have to be sort of like regional leagues. In Germany, you'd have West, Northeast, Southwest, and then you'd probably have to play off after winning the league to see if you go to the Super League. That's the only way. If they kept promotion relegation, because I got to be honest with you, I think eventually they have to do it because of the pay disparity between the teams. Eventually, I think it probably will happen, but I don't want it if it's not a league you can get into.
I don't know. I think I'll always be against it as someone who likes the lower teams. Yeah. I think it just kills lower league football so much.
It kills lower league football if there's no relegation. If there's still relegation into the Super League, then I don't think it kills lower. I don't think it changes the thing.
But how do you make that work with one league?
Then the top leagues like the Premier League, you would probably have to win league and then play a playoff to get into.
But then how do you choose how many teams come up and how many teams go down?
That's what I mean. Like it would the same way Germany chooses for the third league. From the several regional leagues, it would be the exact same way.
You'd have like Europe, so you'd have like a Premier League team, an Italian team, and a Dutch team.
Yeah, let's say they finish first, and they would have to play a playoff to go up. Yeah, so you'd have to win the league and win a playoff to move to the Super League. Yeah, that's the only way that I think they could do. I'm not for it at all. Unless they can keep a relegate. I just think it's a financial reality. I think if you don't do it, teams like Inter Milan and AC Milan will, or you get a country that has a financial crisis, will wither. And they won't be the powerhouses that we're kind of used to them being. I mean, if you look at Italy, they're not the powerhouse they were when I was a kid. I think it'll hurt established big clubs in places like France, the PSG, and PSG in Italy. I think it'll establish big.
I say.
Yeah. It'll hurt established clubs. Yeah. But I mean, I think you'd probably have to give a shot. You'd have to give a shot to obviously, Dutch teams as well. and the Portuguese teams, Belgium teams, and well. So yeah, you have to win the league, and then you go into a playoff, probably in May or June, and that's decides where you're going next year. You know, it'd be more like an American system, but you would be able to keep promotion relegation. I'm not for. I'm not for promotion relegation for the MLS, right? But I am also like I would never want an American system in Europe either. Just for tradition reasons. But I'm
the same where like I like how the MLS is. I like how different it is.
Yeah,
I agree. I like the MLS as
I
it
like
is.
league diversity. I like the way Belgium is. I like the way Scotland is. There's other issues there, but I don't necessarily hate the split. You know, I like the fact that each league has their own thing, and I reject the idea that every league's got to be the same, or the MLS has to be like. There's these American fans that believe it'll never be work unless we have promotion relegation in the States. You don't have the fan infrastructure. That promotion relegation in the States. You don't our team went to the second league. Yeah, so what? It doesn't mean anything. If Wiesbaden, if we go to the third league, people losing jobs. You know, it has a much bigger impact on the town. That's never going to be the place in a four-sport country. It's never going to work. The playoff system is fine. The All-Star game is fine too. Fuck those guys in ESPN FC. I hate them. All these English guys. All these English guys. Get rid of the All-Star game. Why? Because it shows the weakness of the league. If you actually look at the MLS also, except for like the last 2 years, we have a pretty good record against foreign teams. You know.
So yeah, I'm of the mindset I don't like them trying to Americanize our like things over here.
Yeah.
But I'm quite happy to do whatever over there. Sure.
Yeah.
It does make it interesting by having different things.
Experimental.
I definitely agree with that.
It's always been an experimental league, and here's the thing: like you watch, like you have the paint now. We got that from Brazil, where they dealt with encroachment. I remember seeing that in 2007 or 8 that the Brazilian leagues were using the paint. Now each referee's got them. Well, that was a good thing to adopt. Maybe the MLS comes up with something you should adopt. I wonder if the next big thing is we're getting close to playoff times in MLS. The best out of 3 might be a better option than 2 legs. Maybe that's something you want to think about. So let us do the crazy stuff and let's see how it works. You know, but we don't have the fan infrastructure for promotion relegation, and not to mention the fact that they're not owned by the town. They're franchises that people bought into. And can you imagine buying a franchise? Now you're in the minor league and you're earning less money. Oh no, that's not what I bought. You know?
Yeah.
They're franchises. Actually, they're not really franchises in the traditional sense. Yeah, they are. If you own a team in the MLS, like it's not like you can't pick up and move unless you get permission from the league. You know, it's not like, or you can't do what you can in Europe, and all that other good stuff. So, all right, a little disappointing on the derby. It's been kind of a rough lost all my bets. Strange. We're still working on trying to produce this podcast. Well, that should be a lot of fun once we figure that out. Thanks so much for being there, Nick. And we'll see you on the next one, everybody. Goodbye. Take care.